I cooked 4 of Don't Starve's crockpot foods in real life. This was recommended in a recent stream I did, and is going to be a precursor to a future tier list I'm going to do. This video actually took lots of effort and a small chunk of change to create, so if you enjoy it, please leave a like and subscribe for future videos. Who knows, if this does well, I might have to just make every recipe in Don't Starve. Let's go over the rules for making these recipes. Rule number 1 is I can only use 4 ingredients per recipe, much like Don't Starve's crockpot. This, however, does not include spices, and for taste reasons, butter, although butter was only added as an extra in 2 of the dishes. Rule number 2 is I must use required items in any of these dishes. For example, Figkabobs require figs, a twig, and a meat item, meaning we can only add 1 extra item. And that's pretty much it. So what's the first recipe I decided to make? Well, using chicken, figs, potatoes, and twigs, we would make Figkabobs. First, we pre-cook the chicken because I'm not rocking with that salmonella stuff. Then we arrange the kebab with chicken, potato, and finally the star of the show, figs. After creating 3 kebabs and seasoning them with a beautiful chili and lime seasoning, I pop them in the oven at 350 until they are nice and steamy and the potatoes are fork tender. The final result was these amazing looking Figkabobs. But before I can tell you just how good these were, we need to move on to recipe number 2. And this one was actually probably the most visually appealing one we made. Using dragon fruit, jalapenos, red bell peppers, and mango, we would make hot dragon chili salad. After adding all of the food to a mixing bowl, all we would need to do is season accordingly. For this we used chili powder and tahini. Then all we have to do is scoop the ingredients into our dragon fruit bowl, and boom, we have this super pretty hot dragon chili salad. Sure, Don't Starve's version is much more red, but this one is sure gonna be tasty still. Recipe number 3 was a classic, and one that people apparently make in real life all the time. Using dragon fruit, pie crust, mixed berries, and honey, we would make dragon pie. Now to make this, we used some leftover dragon fruit from our hot dragon chili salad and mashed it up. Then layered it with the mixed berries in the pie crust. Since I am a function over form kind of guy, I decide to do the dumpling style top of the crust. Sure, this deviates from how it looks in Don't Starve, but that's not exactly what we care about. What we care about is the taste. After mixing in some sugar and honey, we pop it in the oven with the Figkabobs to cook. Recipe number 4. Oh boy, was this one hard to make. Using tofu and lettuce to simulate leafy meat, peas, and jello, we would make leafy meatloaf. And the prep was certainly spooky for anybody who understands the culinary arts. This was, for lack of a better word, an abomination. After getting our steaming hot jello water, we layer in some tofu, then sprinkle in peas, which are supposed to look like the little balls that you see in the leaf meat, and finally, a healthy sprinkling of lettuce. Now, I decided to skip the seasoning because, well, I used lime jello for this since the leafy meatloaf is green. My hope is that the lime overpowers everything, but we will see. Oh yeah, this is how it turned out, by the way. Unfortunately, it did not hold its shape. Now it's time to taste test them. Luckily, Sky was available so we could have 2 opinions. And if you're wondering why we're both purple, it's because we have come down with a serious case of purplitis. And the only cure is for everyone to head down to that like button and... Okay, I'm sorry. Look, I'll stop. You guys are probably wondering how these dishes taste. We started with an appetizer, hot dragon chili salad. And honestly, it was actually pretty great. Now, my spice tolerance is not the best, but the star of the show was definitely the tahini, which countered a lot of the sweet flavors of the peppers and fruit. I give this dish a 6 out of 10. Sky, however, gave it an 8 out of 10. It was a very fancy and surprisingly pleasant dish. Next on the list was Figkabobs, our entree. Now, these looked absolutely delicious, and as expected, they were. The potatoes cooked perfectly with crispy skin and a buttery interior. The chicken was surprisingly tender, but those two aren't the star of the show. The star was the fig. Now, Sky doesn't like figs, something to do with wasps going inside of them or something, so her vote doesn't actually count here. I decided to try the entire fig, and it was actually great. The outside of the fruit caramelized, while the inside stayed jelly-like, leading to an overall really pleasant taste experience. And of course, chili lime seasoning goes insanely well with any fruit, so that seasoning only added to the flavor experience. Figkabobs were an astounding 10 out of 10. Absolutely delicious, and I highly recommend you guys make these. Time for the dessert in this 3-course meal. We have in front of us one of the most popular dishes in the game, Dragonpie. And oh man, do I see why it's popular for people to create this dish. Now, I am not sure how many of you have had dragon fruit before, but it is a pretty awful fruit on its own. It's very grassy and bland. But bake it into a pie with some sugar, honey, and berries? That is a match made in heaven. I think my live reaction self said it best. That tastes like a warm summer afternoon. Like walking outside on a warm summer afternoon. I kid you not. That is exactly what it tastes like. Of course, Dragonpie gets a 10 out of 10 from both me and Sky. An amazing dish that is truly delicious. I highly recommend everybody try this. Of course, you don't have the same 4-ingredient restriction as we did, so go crazy with it if you want. And feel free to tell me your recreations, I actually am curious. Unfortunately, now it's time. Time for the dreaded Leafy Meatloaf. Luckily for Sky, the jello wasn't able to set until the next day, leaving me to do this challenge all by myself. I scooped up a healthy portion of tofu, jello, and peas, and just went for it. And honestly, it was pretty unpleasant, but not as awful as I expected it to be. The hardest thing to get over is the texture, which was actually really bad thanks to the tofu not being cooked beforehand. Now, I actually like tofu, but I'm not a fan of lime-flavored tofu. This was an expected 2 out of 10. If you think all of this tofu went into the trash, however, don't worry. I actually took the remaining pieces of tofu and cooked them up to produce a much tastier dish after this testing was over. So we're gonna use tofu, yes. I like tofu. Tofu on its own is pretty good. If I can cut it without cutting myself, alright. Dude, this thing looks freaky.
Oh, it's really good though. I like it.
Yeah.
Did you give it a rating?
No, I haven't yet. I got a really spicy part though. Oh! Hi guys, I'm in your minute.
Don't throw up.
I need some Volt goat milk. Call this Volt goat milk, okay?
Okay. I don't know what that is, but
It's from the game.
sounds yummy.
Oh. Ow. Okay. You don't like it?
I just hate looking at it.
Oh yeah, that does look kind of cursed. My trusty fork. My fork that I left up out of the table. Alright, I'm gonna go light on the peas, but these are supposed to be the little balls that you see in the leafy. Oh god, those smell awful. I'm gonna go light on those, just so this has a chance of being edible. This has gotta be the worst pie stretch I've ever done. Hold on. Oh, come on. We're gonna figure it out. Okay, you know what? It's gonna be lopsided. That's the art of the dragon pie. Dude, I suck at this. And with that, I have created and tried 4 of Don't Starve's crockpot foods. Hot dragon chili salad, Figkabobs, dragon pie, and leafy meatloaf. Before I fully say goodbye though, obviously we have to address the fact that this was the first time I have ever shown my face here, which is pretty epic. But it won't be the last time, unless my face falls off from eating that leafy meatloaf that is, which is a real threat. Anyways, I have started a second channel, Polarlotus Live, Over there, I want to start posting more real-life content and other shenanigans not related to video games. That channel will be inactive for a little bit, but if things start picking up over here on this channel, then I will devote more time to feeding both of these channels with fun and engaging content. Also, do you want to be notified of everything I post? Sometimes, YouTube is mean to me and decides to not send notifications for live streams and other stuff. So be sure to join the Polarlotus Discord. There you will get notified of every video, and you will get a special limited time role as an early joiner. If you're an early joiner, that is. Who knows how many people are going to join after this? Hopefully a lot. Anyways, the link is in the description of this video, or in the channel links. And with that said, I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye-bye.